Okay, so today we are taking a look at more maximum and minimum problems. We're going to start by taking a look at a number problem. This is quite basic. We have two numbers that have a difference of 8. We're going to determine the numbers if their product is a minimum. Okay, so we're going to start off with our let statement. So we are going to let x represent, I'm going to say the larger number, and I'm going to let y represent the smaller number. In grade 9, you used one variable, and in grade 10, we are going to be using two variables. So the next thing we're going to do is write down the given information. Okay, so the given information about the relationship between these two variables is that x minus y is equal to 8. Okay, then we're going to take a look at what we're looking to find a minimum of, and we're looking to find the minimum product. Okay, so we are going to set up a relationship over here for product and its relationship with x and y. So our product is just x times y. Product means multiply. So we're looking to minimize, okay, minimize product based on our two variables, x and y. The thing is that we need to come up with an equation here that only has two variables. Right now, we kind of have three. We have product is equal to x times y. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our given information, and we are actually going to rearrange this to isolate one of our variables. So I'm going to move the y to the other side so that I get x is equal to 8 plus y. And I'm going to sub that information in over here for x. So now I have my product is equal to 8 plus y times y. So I have product as a function of my number y. Now what I can do is hopefully you've noticed that this is a quadratic over here. So I can go ahead and expand this out. So I'm going to have my product is equal to y squared plus 8y, and I'm looking at finding the minimum product. So I'm actually going to complete the square. And this is a really easy example. So as you can imagine, things will get a little bit more complicated with your practice work, but we're going to complete the square here. And this is a pretty basic one. I'm going to take that value of 8 divided by 2 and square it, giving me 16. That's my special number that I'm going to add and subtract. Because there's no stretch factor, I can jump right into this. And I'm going to rewrite this as y plus 4 all squared minus 16. Okay. So now I want you to think about this as a relationship between this product and this number y. So what does this tell me? At the end, this tells me that when y is equal to -4, my product is at a minimum, and that product is -16, right? The y value over here. I know it's a little bit confusing because we actually have a y as part of this expression. But I'm going to explain it one more time. What this means is that when y is equal to -4, my product is equal to -16. And this is a minimum. How do I know it's a minimum? Well, this is a parabola that is opening up. Okay, if I were to think about this as a sketch, right? This is my product. This is my possible numbers for y. And when y is equal to -4, I actually have a minimum of -16. Okay, it's a little bit hard to think about. What the information is that I need to take away from that, though, is this piece right here. We were looking for the two numbers, okay? So our two numbers, if I know that y is equal to -4, well, then I can go ahead and find x. So x then has to be equal to 8 plus -4, and x has to be equal to 4. So now I have my two numbers, okay? I have my y number and I have my X number, and I can go ahead and answer the question. We're going to determine the numbers that give us a minimum product. So therefore, the two numbers are 4 and -4. Okay. And you could kind of test that out. Like what would be my two numbers if one of them was 3? And if they have a difference of 8. And you'll find that you won't be able to find two numbers that have a minimum product if their difference is 8. Okay. These are our two numbers. And again, that minimum product would be -16. So that's kind of the basics of those number problems. The other type of problem that we face are revenue problems. So this example here has a math club that's selling sweatshirts as a fundraiser. So they sell 1,200 sweatshirts a year at $20 each. They're planning to increase the price. A survey indicates that for every $2 increase in price, there will be a drop of 60 sales per year. So we're going to determine the selling price to maximize the revenue. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is think about what revenue is and where revenue comes from. So revenue is the money that's brought in, okay? So my revenue is going to be based on, the number of sweaters multiplied by the unit price or the price of one sweater. Okay, that's the money that I bring in. So if I sell, 10 sweaters and they're $20 each, then I'm going to have $200 of revenue. Okay, this is what we need to think about. So when we're setting up an equation to maximize this revenue, okay, I need to come up with a way to add that thought of a $2 increase, okay, or multiple $2 increases. Maybe I'll increase it by $2, $4, or $6. So my let statement in this case is going to be identifying how many $2 increases in price we are going to have. So let's start there. We're going to let X represent the number, and that part's really key, stating it's the number of $2 increases. Okay, so if I have 3 $2 increases, then the price is going up by $6. Okay, so if I have X representing the number of increases, I'm going to get back to that revenue equation. And I know that my sweaters, originally, I sell the number of sweaters is 1,200. Okay, but we're going to have a drop of 60 sales per year for every $2 increases. So I'm actually going to lose 60 sales of sweaters for every increase of $2. And remember that this X represents the number of increases. Okay, so if I'm going to multiply, 60 times how many increases there are. Okay. So all I've done here is I've looked at the number of sweaters is now going to be 1,200 minus 60x. All right, that highlighter didn't work very well, but we're going to carry on. So my unit price for the sweaters, it used to be $20, but I'm going to increase it by $2 times the number of times I increase it. So X is the number of $2 increases. So again, if I increase it 3 times, 3 times 2 gives me 6. It's going to be an additional $6. So this is my revenue expression. So revenue based on the number of increases. As you can see, we have a quadratic in factored form. So my next step is I'm going to expand this out, using FOIL, whatever method you use to expand it out, and I'm going to rewrite it in expanded form as a quadratic. When I do expand this out, I end up, I'm going to skip some steps here, but you're welcome to do the work on the side, negative 120x squared plus 1,200x plus 24,000. Okay, and this we can see is in standard form. Okay, so we went from factored form to standard form. Well, standard form is not super helpful. What we want to do is find the maximum revenue. So we're maximizing this revenue based on the number of increases. So I actually want vertex form. So I'm going to go ahead and complete the square to get vertex form. So my first step in completing the square will be to factor out this negative 120. So I have that out front. That leaves me with x squared minus 10x. And then I still have this 24,000 at the end here. And then we know I'm going to take that negative 10, I'm going to divide it by 2 and square it. So I get negative 120. Here I have x squared minus 10x plus 25 minus 25. So we add it and subtract it, plus 24,000. Okay. I'm going to carry on by bringing that negative 25 out of the brackets. So I have negative 120, x squared minus 10x plus 25, close the bracket, plus negative 120 times negative 25, plus that 24,000. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and factor this and simplify all of this. I get negative 120 x minus 5 all squared plus 27,000. Okay, so we need to think about now, what does this all mean? This means that when x is equal to 5, I'm going to have a maximum revenue, which is $27,000. Okay, that's what that means, because my vertex here is 527,000. Okay. All right. So again, we need to think about what all of this means. X is our number of changes. So we are actually going to have 5 changes of $2. Let's go back to the question for just a minute. It's asking me to come up with the selling price to maximize the revenue. Okay. So I'm looking for the selling price. That's just our unit price. And our selling price is $20 plus $2 times X, which is the number of increases. And in this case, the number of increases was 5. So we have $20 plus 2 times 5, which gives me $30. Okay. We could have also calculated, how many we're going to sell. We also know that the maximum revenue is 27,000. So every question will be a little bit different, but all of the information is part of this expression for revenue. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and write my conclusion. So therefore, to maximize revenue, and again, if it asks for that maximum revenue, we have it, it's 27,000. So to maximize revenue, they should sell at $30 a piece, okay, or per sweatshirt. Okay, so the good news is that all revenue questions, to set them up, are basically the same. Okay, they do take a little bit longer and you have to think about how you're going to answer your questions a little bit more, but once you get the hang of it, you're going to be fine. Let's take a look at this last example, and I'm actually going to have you do this one, but we're going to set it up together. So we have a theater company. We have 300 season ticket subscribers. Current price of the tickets is $400. We have determined that for every $20 increase in price, 10 subscribers would not renew their season tickets. So determine what's it asking me for? Oops. We're going to determine the price that would maximize the revenue and how many subscribers would renew their season tickets. So our first step is we are going to state our let statement. Okay, so we're going to let X represent the number of $20 increases. Okay, so again, it's the number of how many times we increase that price. Our next step is to set up our revenue equation. So remember, your revenue equation is based on, how many we sell times the unit cost. So let's take a look at how many we sell. Normally, we sell 300. Okay, great. But we are going to lose 10 people for every $20 increase. Okay, so again, this part right here is the number of tickets. Okay, and then we have our unit cost. So normally our season tickets are $400, but we're going to increase that in increments of 20, and we don't know how many, which is why we do 20 times the X. So this is the part that is the unit cost. Okay. All right. So this is how we've set it up. Again, this is in factored form. So your goal is to come up with an equation for revenue that is in vertex form, okay, based on X. So I'm going to have you pause the video, do some work. So you're going to expand into standard form, then come up with vertex form to find the number of increases. And then we're going to come back together and talk about our conclusions. So go ahead and pause. Okay, so you should have been able to come up with an equation where its revenue is equal to negative 200 bracket x minus 5 squared plus 125,000. Okay, so our vertex here is 125,000. Okay, that also means that we are going to have 5 changes. Okay, so 5 $20 increases. And it means that this is our maximum revenue. Okay, so let's go back to the question and answer the questions that were asked of us. So determine the price. So that's our first part here. So therefore, the price is going to equal, we know it's going to be that $400 plus $20 times 5. So that's going to be $500, okay, for that new season ticket price. And then the next question is, how many subscribers would renew their season tickets? So our subscribers is equal to 300 minus 10 times that 5. So we're going to take away 50. So this is 250 people. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Make sure to ask any questions on the discussion board. If you get stuck, you're going to have time to practice this, and good luck.